Logan and Jake Paul are brothers from Ohio. Shout out to Jacob Buck, one of my subscribers. Dude lives in Ohio. So shout out to him. Shout out. Logan has had more controversies than Jake, and Logan has actually been in the news recently for 2 bad reasons. So we'll start with him. We're going to backtrack to one of his first major controversies, which is when he went to Japan, went to the infamous suicide forest, found a dead body, and recorded it and uploaded it to YouTube with little to no blur. Logan was born on April 1st, 1995, so not only was his birth an April Fool's joke, he's only a few months older than me. The dead body wasn't the only bad thing that he did in Japan, however. He also got in trouble online because he would dress in traditional Japanese garb and would run around the markets yelling and screaming. Recently, he was in trouble with the internet because someone found a pet pig of his dying and very sick. However, as per usual on the internet, I think they might have jumped the gun on this one. Logan said that he put the pig in a ranch when he moved to Puerto Rico as he was unable to bring the pig to the island. The pig lived there when the owner sold the ranch, and then the pig was rehomed without Logan Paul's knowledge to the farmer across the street. The farmer claims that he called the Gentle Barn to get the pig, and contrary to the Gentle Barn's claims, there was only one pig. Logan said that he was heartbroken by the situation, and that he was grateful for the Gentle Barn for bringing her in, and said that he will do whatever he needs to aid the pig. It feels a little dishonest to me if this story is true, because the Gentle Barn posted on TikTok that they found the pig in a field with a second already dead pig, and that it was abandoned by the owner, Logan Paul. Now, I'm not sure who's correct here, right? Either one of them could be correct, but it's a crappy situation either way, because either way, someone is lying, and there's an almost dead pig. I've always thought about getting a pig. I thought getting like a pet pig would be kind of cool. Logan also has been in a crypto controversy lately. In 2021, he launched an NFT game called Crypto Zoo. He sold images of animals as NFTs within the game and told players that they could breed them and be able to win crypto coins called Zoo. A YouTuber by the name of CoffeeZilla called out Logan, saying that he abandoned the game after making money on it, and as a result, many people were left to believe that it was a scam. Logan said that he denies scamming anyone through the game. However, he does go on to detail his plans to give back $1.3 million in rewards. Logan seems to have taken everything recently in stride and handled it way better than the Japanese incident. That's what I call growth and character development. Now we'll move on to Logan's brother, Jake Paul. Jake uploaded a video to YouTube called I Lost My Virginity, which used a thumbnail of himself and his then girlfriend posing semi-nude on top of each other. The video was age restricted, and fellow YouTuber and person later on this list, Keemstar, criticized the thumbnail as being inappropriate for his younger audience, who on average at the time was younger than 18. Jake also had complaints about noise and a public nuisance lawsuit. He moved into a quiet neighborhood in Beverly Hills and turned it not so quiet. He would often play loud music and parties, and the neighborhood was filled with mostly lawyers who generally want quiet and to relax after a day of work. Jake was also accused of sexual assault by a TikTok star. He denies all the claims. From what I can tell, it never went anywhere legally, so this is still up in the air. Jake rode a motorized vehicle on a beach in Puerto Rico, which is illegal in order to protect the wildlife. He apologized and said that he had no intention of harm. Shane Dawson is an interesting person. He's been on YouTube almost since its inception and made a name for himself. His controversies are pretty bad as well. In the past, he used blackface and used the soft A N-word pretty liberally. These led to allegations of racism because, of course they did. I mean, he did blackface to portray caricatures of minorities in a negative light for the majority of the time that he was in character. Later on in 2013, on a podcast that he had called Shane and Friends, he made some comments about pedophilia, which he did apologize for and said at the time that the comedy he used was shock comedy, which if you look back and kind of compare what he's saying to his videos is true. He then got in trouble for comments that he made on the same podcast in 2015 where he talked about sexual activity with his cat. Now, if you were on the internet in 2019, you're probably pretty familiar with the Shane having intercourse with his cat meme. I did not F my cat. In 2020, a whole new generation of people found out that Shane did blackface and said the N-word in videos, prompting a 20-minute video apology response from him. He said that even though he apologized before, he realized that those apologies suck and that this one's good. and that he doesn't know who that person is anymore. He concluded the video by saying that he would do better, but he understands if people don't want to accept his apology. He said that he made inappropriate jokes to deal with the pain from his childhood, which to me at least makes sense because I know a lot of people who kind of deal with trauma through jokes, myself included. However, my jokes generally don't include pedophilia and bestiality, so I don't know. Hours after his apology video was posted, Jaden Smith accused him of sexualizing his sister Willow Smith. He said that he was disgusted after an old video resurfaced of Dawson pretending to touch himself in a sexual manner while looking at a poster of Willow, who was 11 at the time. On June 29th, 2020, Target announced that they would remove Dawson's 2 books from their shelves, and the next day, YouTube suspended monetization on all 3 of his channels. Bad Baby, otherwise known as the Catch Me Outside girl, real name Danielle Bregoli, is an interesting character to say the least. She was recently accused of blackfishing after she shared a video clip on her Instagram story of her. She had blonde hair despite her usual brown hair, and her skin tone was darker, and it seemed that she had lip filler. And a lot of people thought that there was in fact an African American on her story on Twitter. She had a similar controversy earlier on in her quote-unquote career, and basically told everyone to back off, eat crap, she can do what she wants, etc, etc. And then I guess her agent or someone smart found out because she apologized for the picture and for the bad apologies. She launched an OnlyFans in April 2021, just days after turning 18, and bragged that she made $1 million in 6 hours. However, something super strange happened recently where she said that everyone who subbed to her page at first should be arrested. Because the pictures that she uploaded at the time were when she was a minor, which of course they were, because it was only 2 days into her being 18 and there was like 12 different photo shoots. That said, none of the pictures were anything too spicy, a lot of swimwear, some underwear, nothing completely unclothed. However, it's still kind of gross it's kind of gross that we live in a society where people are like, finally, you turned 18. Finally. Weirds me out. She went live on Instagram back in 2017, and her mom could be heard in the background going on an anti-Muslim rant, being like, oh, you effing Muslim, blah, blah, blah. And then Danielle spoke up in support of her mom, so her mom was on a phone call, and Danielle was like, yeah, and also this. And then she ended the live, so that was one of the controversies. She gets into physical fights, including with her mom. She's had the cops called on her a few times. She also got into an altercation with 2 people that are on this list in this tier, Lil Tay and Whoa Vicky, so we're going to get into them next. There isn't much information about Lil Tay. She kind of disappeared from the internet after revealing that she was in a bad situation. She's believed to be around 9 years old when she was famous, so I guess back in 2018 she was around 9. She was a foul-mouthed child who flexes money. She's a rapper who has 2 million followers on Instagram currently. She poses with expensive cars, wads of cash, and designer brands. However, she disappeared in 2018 after her mother was arrested. She said that her father was abusive, and because her mother was arrested, she had nowhere to live other than with her father and her older brother. There was a leaked video of her brother getting mad at her and like making her flex the cash and call people posers and cuss and being like, you're not doing it right. You say, oh, F these haters, blah, blah, blah. And it caused some controversy, like, oh, is Lil Tay okay? The last time that anyone has seen Lil Tay was in 2019, was when her brother created a GoFundMe to try to get her out of an abusive situation, but people online weren't really buying it, saying that it seemed to be an allergic reaction to something she ate, or perhaps like a bee sting or something, but they didn't believe that it was abuse. No one knows where Lil Tay is today, but the way that she disappeared has people worried. She was friends with Whoa Vicky, who had beef with Bad Baby, so we'll move on to Whoa Vicky. Whoa Vicky is an Instagram model. It's like calling me like a full-time YouTuber, dude. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. I got 300 subscribers. Instagram model, whose real name is Victoria Rose Waldrip. She made headlines by claiming she was black and uses a black accent, which I guess is just a black accent. She also uses the N-word both with the soft A and the hard R. She kicked a police officer at a Black Lives Matter mostly peaceful protest and threatened Snoop Dogg on Twitter, to which he responded. She's been compared to Rachel Dolezal, who if you don't know, was the woman who stepped down as the NAACP chapter president in Spokane after her parents revealed that despite what she said, she's not black. Her Instagram following grew, and she's deleted old posts from the past. She essentially tried to start controversies with other celebrities to gain clout, and I guess it worked because she's on this list and she has millions of Instagram followers. There's not a whole lot more to this, but this iceberg was made a while ago before the first three got even more controversial than they were. Fred, whose real name is Lucas Crookshank, was a YouTuber who was popular for his portrayal of his life as a child, where his YouTube channel garnered attention. I watched him when I was younger, as did my family. I thought he was funny. He was actually the first YouTube channel to hit 1 million subscribers, but clearly not the last. Please subscribe. He eventually got picked up for movies, a TV show, and had cameo appearances in Nickelodeon TV shows. The only real controversy for poor Lucas is that the movies didn't do well, neither did the TV show. The niche of his high shrill voice was wearing thin on audiences, especially adults who would be the ones paying for their children to go see this. Essentially, the brand deals that he signed were his own downfall, as there was too much Fred. He currently is a cultural commentator on TikTok, where he also makes comedy shorts. Poor guy essentially got blacklisted from Hollywood through no fault of his own. Poor Rebecca Black. Rebecca Black is most known for her music video Friday, which I'm sure if you're between the ages of 12 and 40, you've seen or heard the song. Her mom actually paid the music company Arc Music Factory $4,000 to produce the music video, while retaining ownership to the video and song. This song only got about 1,000 views in its first month on YouTube, but on March 11th, 2011, the song exploded, gaining millions of views on YouTube in just a few days. Most of the attention was negative, and it currently sits at number 8 on the like to dislike ratio, with 74.55% of interactions on the video being dislikes, and 28th in overall dislike count. In fact, Friday was so disliked that at one point it passed Justin Bieber's Baby, which was the most disliked YouTube video at the time. Once the song passed 3 million dislikes, it was removed for 3 months before being put up again and has not been taken down since. But, as they say, there's really no such thing as bad publicity. Rebecca was selected by MTV to host their first online awards show. She appeared in a music video for Katy Perry's song Last Friday Night, and a cover version of the song Friday appeared in Glee, their second season, and she's had a lucrative career since. This one kind of played out this way on accident, but people have used the there's no such thing as bad publicity to their advantage. You can look at the tier before with, Bad Baby and Whoa Vicky and Lil Tay. So while Rebecca Black isn't that controversial herself, it's more so infamy, but not her infamy. It's more so Friday's infamy, but you gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Sitting in the front seat, kicking in the back seat. Where do I even get started with Banana Man Onision? At first, I didn't know that him and Shane Dawson were different people. I thought they were the same guy. I mean, look at him. Starting off, Onision, whose legal name is currently James Jackson, he changed it, started his YouTube channel in the early days of YouTube right after Fred got big. Some of his earliest clips you can find of him are him playing a character called Chibi, who acts very similarly to Fred, has a high voice like Fred, has a similar editing and camera style, is a little bit less family friendly, I should say. I was going to say more raunchy, but less family friendly. I hadn't heard about this Chibi character until I did research, so I looked it up, and it's almost uncanny how much it's like Fred. But it's really sad because instead of like a teenager, it's a full-grown adult. The one that I watched was called Chibi Eats Everything, and honestly, it was so hard to watch that I had to click off within a minute. It was so hard to watch. He gets in a plastic pool and starts pouring ketchup, a whole bottle of ketchup into his mouth, and he's like, "That's not my favorite food." It was so hard to watch. With that being said, however, it started his career, so I guess good for him. Anyway, haha, remember to hit that subscribe button so I don't have to sit in a pool and pour ketchup in my mouth. He went viral for his song I'm a Banana, which is him wearing a banana outfit, and it's like, I'm a banana, I'm a banana. I'd never heard of this either until I was doing research for this video. I'm a banana, I'm a banana, look at me, banana power. Thank you, Onision. Another very hard watch. His controversies are pretty crazy. He was first banned from VidCon in 2012 because in a video he made, he said that because his girlfriend at the time had slept with more than 20 people, she was a slut and cannot be roped. He was then banned from Patreon after posting the phone number of a fellow YouTuber, Billy Dawn Webb. She was one of several women who claimed that Onision and his spouse had groomed and manipulated them into a sexual relationship or engaged in harassment and abuse. I did see him on Twitter the other day say something about someone's moral compass, and all the people were like, ain't no way Onision is saying this. At one point, he said that his girlfriend had robbed him and taken all of his stuff. And it's so hard to take the video seriously because he tries to capitalize off his banana video. So he's sitting there trying to be all serious, talking about how his girlfriend robbed him and his place is a wreck, blah, blah, blah. It's playing in the background. That's what he chose for background. First off, he chose background music. And second off, he chose I'm a Banana. So the whole time he's like, yeah, my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And in the background, it's just, I'm a banana. I'm a banana. Thank you, Onision. Yet another very hard watch. After he was banned from Patreon, Patreon released a statement saying that he indeed had been banned for violating their bullying and harassment policy as it relates to doxing. In response to this ban, Onision uploaded a video of himself contorting and screaming and pouring a bottle of kombucha over his head, and then he yells, "What am I going to do now? I'm covered in kombucha and I have no more patrons." Both of which you had control over. The first one you had control over in the moment. You didn't have to pour kombucha over your head. In 2021, after the release of a docuseries called Onision in Real Life, his channel was removed from the YouTube Partner Program. The documentary was made, hosted, and produced by Chris Hansen of To Catch a Predator, and the synopsis of the docuseries is featuring interviews with his father, Randy Jackson, his ex-fiancée, Shiloh, and acclaimed journalist Chris Hansen. Each episode puts Onision's past under the microscope, dissecting his vicious behaviors and alleged predatory actions. No, I know what you're thinking here. Whoa! Chris Hansen? Predatory actions? Yes, and yes. As I mentioned earlier, he has had many allegations of grooming leveled at him for many, many years. Onision himself said that this grooming stuff is absolute nonsense. When Insider reached out to Onision for comment, he requested $10,000 for an interview, saying that he did not want to participate in the circus without compensation, and that he should be paid to endure the stupidity of the current state of outrage and online culture. In January of 2020, he called 911 because Chris Hansen and lawyer Mike Morse knocked on his door. He described Hansen and the crew with him as YouTube stalkers. Mike Morse, the lawyer, stated, quote, "It concerns me that he has 2 kids in the home. I really didn't like what I was hearing about this guy." According to a February 2020 article by the Daily Beast, Hansen's investigative team alleges that Onision has exploited his online fame for nearly a decade by grooming young fans and coercing them into sexually and emotionally abusive relationships. As I stated earlier, there is a docuseries called Onision in Real Life, which is hosted and produced by Chris Hansen if you would like to learn more. H3H3 Productions is actually a really sad story, kind of like a fall from grace. Ethan Klein and his wife Ela started H3H3 Productions originally in early 2011. It was called He Productions, as seen in their early videos, where an outro plays with a voice saying an unoriginal He production.
An unoriginal production.
Now their actual H3H3 channel has had some of the funniest YouTube videos I've ever seen on the site at the time. I still occasionally go back and watch some just because they're so funny. We quote videos of his, me and my friend group, we quote old H3 videos all the time. However, they haven't made a video on their actual H3H3 Productions channel since 2020 and said on their podcast that they're unlikely to make an H3H3 Productions style video again. They started their podcast called the H3 Podcast in 2016 and have since put most of their effort into that podcast. Ethan has changed a lot since the early days of H3H3. He went from someone who was a huge defender of someone like Humongous, who was being harassed by, I don't remember her name, but she was harassing him, and then he said his name was Humongous, and then she's like, Humongous what? I'm being sexually harassed. Even to the point that he set up a GoFundMe for his legal issues. He also met and was friends with Filthy Frank, who is now Joji. Good for that guy. JonTron, DJ Khaled, iDubbbz, PewDiePie, and even Post Malone. Hey Post, I know you're watching this video. I'm also in Utah. Hit me up. He moved from Israel to New York, then eventually to California, which is where he got swept up into politics and has become pretty left-wing. The H3 podcast channel was suspended from YouTube after Ethan said that someone should bomb an NRA convention. After the channel was restored, it got a strike and a 1-week suspension after saying that he hoped that conservative Jewish commentator Ben Shapiro be gassed first in the event of a second Holocaust. With his exact quote being, "If there is another Holocaust and people start rounding up the Jews again, I hope Ben gets gassed first." After this was done, he said that the reason he was suspended was because a few white supremacists successfully lobbied YouTube to suspend him. His Twitter account was permanently suspended after impersonating Elon Musk after he purchased Twitter. Following the suspension on Twitter, he criticized Musk by tweeting from his wife's account, which was also then banned for use in evading, which is against Twitter's policies. His latest controversy revolves around deep fake internet adult content where someone replaces the face of an adult actor or actress with someone famous. This all started because Twitch streamer Atrioc was caught purchasing deepfakes of high-profile female Twitch streamers on stream. Another streamer by the name of Cutie Cinderella released a video of her crying and saying how that type of content has hurt her and her family and her reputation, as people do this kind of thing with her face as well. And then during this heartfelt, serious video, Ethan starts laughing. They're watching it live on the H3 podcast, and Ethan starts laughing. He then later said that he thinks the laughter was because of his Tourette's syndrome. However, he did ask one of the show's technicians to play a slowed down version of Nat King Cole's Christmas song over the video, which is what caused the laughter. So I don't know if you can really blame that one on the Tourette's, but either way, it is a bad look.
If you are able to look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually,
Calvin Vale, better known as Leafy, is here, is a former YouTuber who lived for commentary videos with CSGO surfing in the background. He was actually similar to the early days of H3H3, just perhaps a little more crass. His YouTube channel was terminated in 2020 with YouTube citing repeated violations of their harassment policies. He lives in Utah, and this is kind of doxing myself a little bit if you know where he lives, but I've seen him shopping and at the McDonald's drive-thru. He lives very close to me. In 2015 and 2016, he was swatted multiple times, and at the time he resided in Layton, Utah, but has since moved. His real controversy started in 2016 when he made a video on Tommy NC 2010, an autistic man with low people skills who made YouTube videos that for sure could be seen as cringe, but they were trying to spread positivity. Subscribe, support, stay positive. That was Tommy's motto.
Subscribe, support, and stay positive.
People online rallied behind Tommy NC 2010 in defense of Leafy, and Leafy did something that he'd actually never done before. He issued an apology. Later that year, iDubbbz made a content cop on Leafy in which he said that he and his YouTube videos were cyberbullying and had other critiques. 2016 was a big year for Leafy because this was also the year that he had videos taken down that he had made on a transgender vlogger named Milo Stewart, in which he called Milo an it and a creature. Ironically, in 2019, iDubbbz's content cop was taken down by YouTube as well for violating their guidelines. Leafy took a 2-year hiatus starting in December 2017, but came back in April 2020 in a video insulting iDubbbz. After that video, he kind of got his mojo back and started posting regularly. It was on April 21st of 2020 that his YouTube channel was permanently removed, and he moved to livestream on Twitch. Him and iDubbbz aren't the only ones that have beef. Him and Keemstar, him and Ethan Klein from H3H3, they all have beef. And him and Ethan have made multiple videos on each other. It's like, just kiss already. On September 11th of 2020, Leafy's Twitch account was also banned. Marina Joyce is such a weird story. She was a kind of like vlogger and style YouTuber who made videos of dress try-ons and such. In July of 2016, conspiracy theories and rumors started to spread across the internet that she had changed and seemed like she was being forced to make YouTube videos. In her video Date Outfit Ideas, she seemed very forced, scared, and appeared as if she was being harmed in some way. Many people in the YouTuber community started growing suspicious of the behavior, saying that she began to seem very different. And people told her such on her videos. At the beginning of her video called Question and Answer, Marina would respond saying that she hasn't changed at all. However, in this video alone, she stumbles over her words and talks fast, appearing kind of jittery. This made people worry about her even more. People pointed out that in her videos it seemed people were pointing her, like directing her what to do, pulling her hands, etc. The Twitter hashtag Save Marina Joyce started trending as people grew more and more worried. I remember at this time that Scarce, who was like a news YouTuber who was trying to like rival Keemstar, interviewed her. And it was just a short interview where he basically said, "Are you okay?" And she said yes. And then he said, "Are you being forced to make YouTube videos?" And she said no. And Scarce was like, "There you have it." And I remember a bunch of comments were like, "Here's how Scarce would interview Ted Bundy. Ted, did you kill those women? Ted, no. Scarce, there you have it, folks. He didn't do it." He didn't ask any follow-up questions. Many people around this time started to believe that her strange behavior was due to either a mental breakdown or some sort of mental illness, perhaps schizophrenia, while others believed that it was actually a publicity stunt that she intentionally did in order to gain viewers. None of these claims were ever confirmed or substantiated, and she's mostly gone back to normal. She did gain 3 times the amount of subscribers that she had prior to the situation, however, and ended up having 2 million by the time it was over. Later, on August 9th of 2019, the UK Missing People's Twitter page declared Marina Joyce officially missing and that she had not been seen since July 31st. The next day, the page said that she'd been found alive and well. 2 months later, Marina said that she had never been missing, and that she left of her own volition, and that she only told her boyfriend where she was going. However, fans of hers quickly pointed out that they were suspicious that foul play was still involved in her short disappearance. Sam Pepper, I think, has perhaps the most egregious problem on this tier. So he was a prank YouTuber, which by itself is a problem because they're bad. Like, prank videos are never good. His first controversy was a YouTube video he made called Fake Hand Butt Pinch Prank, in which he would go up to women and ask for directions before pinching their butts. Soon after the video was published, a prankster's worst nightmare came true. People online started saying that they were in the video and they were sexually harassed by Sam Pepper, and the hashtag #ReportSamPepper trended on Twitter. Now, the reason that this is a prankster's worst nightmare is because you either have to admit to sexually harassing a bunch of people, or you have to admit that it was fake and that you hired actors. He did the second, admitting that it was in fact not a prank, but it was in fact a social experiment, and that everyone in the video was a paid and willing participant. Now, as if this wasn't bad enough, let's get into his most well-known controversy. In November of 2015, he uploaded a video called Killing Best Friend Prank. The video features Colby Brock being shot by Pepper in front of his best friend, Sam Golbach. In the video, Pepper, wearing a mask, kidnaps the two. He shoves Golbach into his trunk with a bag over his head. Brock helped Pepper tie him up and take him to a rooftop where they were tied to chairs, in which Pepper uses a fake gun to shoot Brock, leaving Golbach in tears and freaking out. Obviously, Brock was involved in the prank, but apparently so was Golbach, so the acting was really good because over 100,000 people signed a petition to have Pepper removed from YouTube. In an interview with the British newspaper Metro, Pepper said that the criticism towards the video and himself was shocking, and in the same interview, Golbach said that the message of the video was about living life to the fullest, not taking life for granted, and loving it because it's short. Pepper rebranded and became a vlog-type channel, which had more of a positive reaction. Now, in 2021, CoffeeZilla, who, if you remember from Tier 1, accused Logan Paul of a crypto scam, accused Sam Pepper of a crypto scam. CoffeeZilla said that Pepper ordered the developer of the cryptocurrency Save the Kids token to change a mechanism within the currency which would allow it to be used as a pump and dump scheme where you hype up a token and then sell it, making all other coins lose their value. He denied substantial involvement in the scandal, although his friend FaZe Clan member FaZe K said that Pepper's plan was to make $1 million from the token and then vanish forever. Butch Hartman isn't an internet figure as much as he is like a real-life animator. He was the animation director for Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom, and others. He was accused on February 2021 of tracing art. He takes commissions from fans, and he shared a commission piece that he did for a fan online. Someone quickly pointed out that the art looked similar to a piece of fan art from a Japanese artist from 2018. The two drawings are of an Attack on Titan character, and when compared, people noticed that the body, eyes, hair, and more were exactly the same when the drawings were overlapped. After this was noticed, people began to dig through his other commissioned work and found that many seemed to be traced or copied exactly. In 2018, he began a Kickstarter for a family-friendly streaming service called Oaxis. It received $270,000 in donations. It became controversial because Hartman appeared on a Christian television program and stated that it was a Christian streaming service. Many backers of the project felt misled since the religious component wasn't mentioned at all in the Kickstarter. He later responded to the criticism by clarifying that the streaming service was not in fact faith-based. He also said that his wife's fibromyalgia was cured by the power of prayer and that prayer can cure other illnesses. While I personally do believe in the power of prayer, I believe that the Lord works in such ways as having hospitals and modern medicine, and that's the answer to those types of prayers. Hartman also later claimed that you could pray autism away, and this was controversial for many reasons, but mostly for the fact that he insinuated that people with autism were people that needed to be cured to begin with. Everyone in the United States should know this man, Ajit Pai. Ajit was a member of the Federal Communications Commissions from May 14, 2012 under President Barack Obama until he became the chairman of the commission on January 23, 2017 under President Donald Trump. He is most infamous for wanting to end net neutrality in the United States. Upon hearing about net neutrality, which wasn't introduced until 2014, he said that he was committed to a free and open internet and that it was not the FCC's role to determine net neutrality. He testified that, quote, "A dispute this fundamental is not for us, 5 unelected individuals, to decide. Instead, it should be resolved by the people's elected representatives, those who choose the direction of the government, and those whom the American people can hold accountable for that choice." In 2015, he voted against the FCC's Open Internet Order, classifying internet service under Title II of the Communications Act of 1934. In December of 2016, he said that he believed the Title II's net neutrality days were numbered. In a speech 2 weeks before the FCC's scheduled December 2017 vote on net neutrality, Pai was critical of celebrities, including Cher, Mark Ruffalo, and Alyssa Milano, for boosting opposition to the planned repeal. I see we're just throwing the word celebrity around like it's nothing now. Who's Alyssa Milano? Okay, so I just looked her up, and she is an actress that was in a bunch of stuff. I guess I just never heard of her before, so my apologies, Alyssa. I know you're watching. In response to criticism from Mark Ruffalo, Ajit Pai said, quote, "Getting rid of government authority over the internet is the exact opposite of authoritarianism. Government control is the defining feature of authoritarians." Now this is where the cringiest thing that he's ever done comes to light. He appeared in a video called "Ajit Pai Wants the Internet to Know You Can Still Harlem Shake After Net Neutrality." It showed him doing stuff online. He danced the Harlem Shake, he bought products, he just danced regularly, he had a lightsaber, and in response to the video, Mark Hamill of Star Wars fame said that Pai was unworthy to be holding the Jedi weapon. But I have some news for both of them. Lightsabers aren't real. Pai successfully ended net neutrality on December 14th, 2017, and I hate to hand it to the cringe lord, but nothing has changed. Shocked that celebrities got something wrong on this. Absolutely shocked.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
Nicocado Avocado is such a sad story. Tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast. He was born in Ukraine in 1992, but adopted in infancy by an American family and was raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Real name, Nicholas Perry, went to college and majored in performance and became a freelance violinist. However, we all know that freelance musicians don't make much money, so he also got a job at Home Depot. He decided to move to New York City in 2013 to pursue his dream of playing on a Broadway orchestra. However, he had a hard time making a living in a city full of talented musicians, and as we all know, in a world where everyone is super, no one is. He met his boyfriend, Orlin Holm, through a vegan Facebook group, and after essentially e-dating online, he traveled to Colombia to meet Orlin, and they began a relationship. In early 2014, Nicholas moved to Colombia to settle down with him. Orlin already had a YouTube channel and encouraged Nick to start his own in 2014. His channel, called Nicocado Avocado, was a vegan and lifestyle channel, and had some musical performances with his violin as well. He stopped being a vegan and released a video explaining why on September 1st of 2016, where he said that the vegan community was unbalanced, hostile, and mentally unstable. At this point, he became a mukbang YouTuber, which essentially just means you eat a lot of food on camera, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. He says that he has manic episodes due to his poor diet, and that he takes advantage of his low moments by using clickbait to encourage people to clickbait on his videos. Speaking of, smash that subscribe button and that like button. You can see his weight gain here. He gained quite a bit of weight in the past few years. He has breathing problems, rides a mobility scooter, and has low libido due to his diet. It's really sad in my opinion, and that's coming from an overweight guy. I'm overweight, but it seems like he's not doing anything to better himself. He's known for his strange reactions and overreactions during his mukbang videos, some of which have as his boyfriend, some of which he collabs with other YouTubers on. In one of his YouTube videos, you can hear someone getting shot to death in the background, and they just don't make any mention of it, but there was like a news story about it, and then someone linked up his video to the shooting. It was really bizarre. Imagine your last moments being caught on video, and it's Nicocado Avocado doing a mukbang. He also made an OnlyFans, and I don't even want to begin to think about what's on there, because that is disgusting. I mentioned Keemstar earlier on this list, a couple times actually, and we're finally here for the man, the myth, the legend, someone whose speed rivals Sonic himself, Keemstar.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as boy.
He runs a drama news show called Drama Alert and has such a spotty past that iDubbbz made a content cop on him, so if you're interested in learning more about him after this video, check out iDubbbz video. There's a lot going on with Keem, so let's get into it. Keem was born on March 8th, 1982 and will be 41 this year. His real name is Daniel Keem, which is where he got the name Keemstar. In 2010, he circulated a death hoax about Lindsay Lohan, which trended worldwide on Twitter. He was swatted later that year, which essentially, if you don't know, is where someone calls the police on you with your information, and they say that you have like a bomb or a hostage or something, and they send a ton of SWAT to your house and just break in. In 2010, his most famous moment of all time came to be, where he was having an argument with one of the moderators on the streaming website he used. The mod's name was Alex, and I'm sure you know where this is going if you know anything about Keemstar. He wanted everyone in chat to type "Alex is a stupid N-word." Hard R. In 2012, he started the campaign Dildos for Africa. His intention was to buy 75,000 worth of dildos and send them to Africa to combat overpopulation. In 2016, he tweeted at fellow YouTuber Total Biscuit, who had terminal cancer, saying that he could not wait to report on his death. He later died in 2018. Also in 2016, Keemstar falsely accused RuneScape Twitch streamer RS Glory and Gold of being a pedophile. He actually confused him with a different person who actually was a convicted sex offender who used RuneScape to attract his children victims. Keemstar, after finding out that this was a different person, apologized, fired the editor who brought him the story, deleted all the videos on the subject, and offered the streamer $1,000, which the streamer refused. Glory and Gold later forgave Keemstar. In 2019, Etika posted a video called "I'm Sorry" shortly before his self-inflicted death. In that video, he mentioned Keemstar, saying, "Keem, I wish you the best, my N-word." People pointed to the video Keem made a few months back, stating that that was the reason for Etika's decision to leave life, but he had texts from Etika's mother saying that he wasn't to blame and that Etika loved Keemstar. In 2020, H3H3 from Tier 2 released a video expose about Keemstar. One of his claims was that he exploited Etika, and his biggest sponsor, G Fuel, ended their sponsorship with him over it. Zoe Berger is an American YouTuber and Twitch streamer who was heavily engaged in YouTube drama in 2016 and grew her career that way. She kind of took the Bad Baby approach to life, but before Bad Baby, she's the OG. She also was one of the earliest Twitch streamers who would take advantage of their body and wear scantily clad clothing, twerk, etc. She's like the original Alinity, who, funnily enough, is actually on this tier. She was banned on Twitch 4 times, however found a foothold on YouTube and hit 1 million subscribers in essentially no time, just a few months. She was one of the first people to make almost exclusively provocative content and drama content. As more and more people like her started to appear, her growth really slowed down. She made a Patreon account with more provocative content and then eventually an OnlyFans once that website kind of took off. Jstation is a Canadian internet personality, just fueling my dislike for Canada even more. He had a prank YouTube channel, which again is the lowest form of content in my opinion. He received a lot of hate from the YouTube community over his attempts to capitalize on the deaths of celebrities such as Jstation and Mac Miller through paranormal activities such as Ouija boards and spirit boxes known as the 3 a.m. challenge, where he was like, I contacted Mac Miller at 3 a.m. He was arrested in 2018 at Walt Disney World Orlando on charges of trespassing and resisting arrest. Security had been called on him after he became angry at the fact that his bag had been accidentally taken by another guest at the park. According to the staff, he became agitated and refused to check the lost and found or guest claims to try to find his items, instead choosing to yell at and demean the managers. He was then asked to leave the baggage check while filming his experience, which is against Walt Disney World rules to protect the privacy of other guests, and was then jailed on a $1,200 bond. He then called on his followers to boycott Disney World and threatened legal action. I'm not sure in what world the previous events happen and you think that you're in the right, but I guess that's why he's on this list. In 2020, he announced that his girlfriend at the time had been killed by a drunk driver in Toronto, Canada. He then made a video of him visiting a makeshift memorial and attempting to contact her from the grave via a Ouija board. Some viewers were suspicious of the claim, however, as he had made weird claims in the past, such as purchasing children and slaves from the dark web, summoning dead animals, and he once became decapitated using a voodoo doll. Mudahar of the channel Some Ordinary Gamers, who is also Canadian, contacted the Toronto and Ottawa police departments to confirm that his girlfriend was in fact alive. At this point, Jstation admitted that the news of her death was a hoax to increase his subscriber and view count, and that he planned to resurrect her in a later video. His channel was permanently banned after this, and then when he created a second channel and then eventually a third channel, those were also banned for ban evading. He has since said that he has done nothing wrong and threatened to sue YouTube. Alinity is a Colombian Twitch streamer and YouTuber known for playing games and wearing low-cut tops. Her controversies are many, but they're not very big. She asked her stream if she could copyright PewDiePie for calling her a Twitch thought, and later pretty much blamed him for sexism online because sexism never existed before PewDiePie. She then has had some controversies with her cat, but not in the same way that Shane Dawson had. She's thrown her cat over her shoulder, and it's a pretty obvious throw in my opinion, but she claimed that she was putting her cat on top of her chair and he fell.
Milo!
She also allegedly fed her cat vodka from her mouth, which first is crazy and second disgusting. And in 2018 she said that she married a Canadian and then divorced him for the sole purpose of citizenship, and she refuses to respond to this in any way. She had a nip slip on stream once, and Twitch wasn't going to ban her despite people being banned for less, and she had to request the ban so that people would feel that Twitch was being fair when they clearly are not, because she had to request to be banned. She also allegedly said the N-word on stream. However, some viewers of hers say that she was saying Nick, like Nick, you're killing me, but her accent makes it sound like the N-word. Also another provocative Twitch streamer who has an OnlyFans, so the Twitch to OnlyFans pipeline is just insane. Austin Jones is a former musician who is active on YouTube from 2007 to 2017. He is a current convicted sex offender and was arrested for the production of child sexual exploitation on video. People started to be suspicious of him when in 2015 he apologized after a video of him teaching an underage girl to twerk surfaced, with many calling him out. On May 10th of 2015, the music website Pupfresh reported that he had contacted multiple underage female fans online, each time trying to persuade the girl to twerk on video for him, and also how to do it while recording themselves for him. He admitted that the allegations were true, but that nudity was not involved in any of the webcam conversations. On June 9th, 2017, a U.S. judge signed a search warrant for his residence in Bloomingdale, Illinois. 3 days later, Homeland Security executed the search warrant, and on the same day, Jones was arrested at O'Hare International Airport by U.S. Customs agent on 2 counts of producing sexually exploitive videos of children. He consented to a search of his phone and signed a written consent form. Homeland Security transported him to their offices and interviewed him in the traditional way with the camera on the tripod, and he pleaded guilty on a single count of receipt of child sexual exploitation videos and was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. In 2019, a YouTube video was released by YouTuber Defizzy, citing evidence implicating 3 powerful people in covering up Jones's behavior and actions in the past. ProJared was a part of Normal Boots, a group of creators who made videos about video games, along with Peanut Butter Gamer, JonTron the Completionist, Did You Know Gaming, and Continue. However, due to the controversy we're gonna go over, he and the company parted ways, much like how the company and JonTron parted ways. On May 8th, 2019, he tweeted that he and his wife Heidi were getting a divorce on amicable terms. Jared has faced a ton of hate and backlash after his wife at the time tweeted that she recently found out that he has been cheating on her with more than one person. He also faced more controversy the same day because he was accused of sending pictures of his crotch to fans of who claimed they were under 18 at the time. It's alleged that Jared used Tumblr to solicit nudes from fans with the username SinJared. As I said earlier, Normal Boots released a statement saying that they had parted ways with Jared, but they also mentioned that he had been under internal investigation for inappropriate conduct since April 4th of that same year. Jared released a statement on Twitter saying that he and his wife were in an open, polyamorous relationship, with both of them having partners on the side, which he claimed his wife had encouraged. She responded by saying that they had indeed tried an open relationship, but she had shut it down due to Jared's lack of transparency and considered them monogamous after that point. His channel suffered from extreme public backlash, and he lost more than 20% of his subscribers in just a few days, many viewing him as a predatory pedophile. Jared made a YouTube video titled "You've Been Lied To," where he says that while he did exchange nudes on Tumblr and Snapchat, he always made it clear that it was for consenting adults only. He also said that he was not let go from Normal Boots, but in fact resigned to prevent other members of the group from being dragged into the drama. He then provided evidence against the claims that he solicited nudes from people under 18, showing that it could not have happened. This video, along with the evidence he brought, really resulted in an increase of support for him actually in his channel, and he's been growing on YouTube independently ever since. Slazo was actually a channel that I used to watch in his heyday, but he has had a number of allegations since. Slazo made reaction and commentary videos along the lines of Leafy or early H3H3. On June 10th, 2019, Slazo's ex-girlfriend published a twitlonger, which is just like a long-form tweet, accompanied with screenshots in which she accused Slazo of being controlling, manipulative, and sexually abusive. The next day, Keemstar covered the situation on his show, showing a DM between him and Slazo, who said there was more to the story, but he wanted to take his time in covering all the accusations. Following the video by Keemstar, Slazo's ex released a second twitlonger accusing Slazo of lying to Keemstar and intimidating her on a recent meetup. On June 27, 2019, after seeking professional legal advice and mental health counseling, Slazo published a video providing proof that his ex had taken incriminating DMs out of context and had lied about several of her own statements, such as her having no prior partner before him. He also provided context for the DM screenshots she used, which did show that Slazo didn't have the best social skills or finesse with sensitive topics, but much of which she provided as evidence of sexual assault was actually consensual between the two parties. Further evidence came out in the form of leaked DMs from his ex, showing her to have conspired these accusations at least several weeks before they had come out, and even acknowledged the accusations were fake. Many YouTubers took steps to separate themselves from Slazo when the accusations first came out. After they were disproved, however, very few apologized and several even doubled down. Further leaked DMs obtained and published by Turkey Tom indicate that some YouTubers conspired with his ex to remove Slazo from the commentary community for unknown reasons. This is why I'm scared of women, man. One accusation that was proven wrong, and Slazo still isn't back to his old self. People still avoid him. One false accusation can ruin a life, man. FPS Russia is one of the original YouTubers who was big when I first started getting into YouTube around 2010. Real name Kyle Myers was born in the state of Georgia, USA. He played a character named Dmitry Potapov, a professional Russian from Moscow with a heavy accent. His YouTube videos centered around firearms and explosives, every man's dream. He reached 1 million subscribers in just about 1 year in the month of June 2011. He stopped making YouTube videos after he got a felony charge from the ATF, which, side note, The ATF is one of the worst government organizations. They can just make up rules that aren't laws, but they enforce them as if they're laws and federal judges consider them laws. Like, what's up with that? On January 3rd, 2013, Keith Ratliff, a member of the FPS Russia production team, was found shot dead in his home. Ratliff had a federal firearms license and was the one who obtained the firearms used in the videos. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation said that it was investigating, however, there have been no official updates leading to a number of conspiracy theories. A decade later, and still nothing on this. That's crazy. On March 29th, 2013, Kyle's residence and his father's nearby farm were searched by the ATF. The justification that the ATF gave? He was using explosives and getting paid for it via YouTube. However, he used tannerite, which does not meet the ATF's definition of explosive. In 2017, he was raided again by the ATF and FBI after he allegedly received 25 grams of cannabis oil through the mail. The Department of Justice prosecuted on the grounds that illegal drug possession while owning a firearm is a federal offense. He was arrested for felony possession with intent to distribute, and 50 of his weapons were confiscated. He has not released a video on FPS Russia since 2016, but he still actively co-hosts a podcast called Painkiller Already that he also co-founded back in 2010 when he started his YouTube channel. With the legalization of marijuana going about, I really hope they walk it back, give him his stuff back. They're not going to, but that would be the right thing to do. And that's why they're not going to. Xander Dev is the name of the developer of the game Yandere Simulator. In an early beta version of the game released in early 2016, the game is laggy, appears to steal assets, and has little to no story. You play as a high school girl who can kidnap, torture, poison, electrocute, matchmake, befriend, betray, and even drown enemies, and befriend schoolgirls. It also, in a way, exposes minors, as sexual activity is heavily implied. Shortly after it was released, it was banned from Twitch, meaning that any person who streamed the game would be banned. People are upset at Yandere Dev because the game has still not come out. In the year of our Lord 2023, about 7 years later, the game is still not released. In 2020, people were comparing the current build of Yandere Simulator to other almost identical games, saying that the other games were more complete with less glitches and felt more sophisticated coding-wise. Because of this, Yandere Dev threatened to self-exit the Earth server. He said on a Discord chat, quote, "Don't you see how harmful and damaging this is for me? If the cost of Yandere Simulator was ending a person's life, I'd cancel development." Some people defended him, saying that the coder who made the game that looked similar to his is to blame, with a quote, "Imagine coding a whole game just to make some guy feel like crap on the internet." That's kind of the whole point of the internet, from what I can tell, is just to make others feel like crap for no reason. However, the majority of people still believe that Yandere Dev is in the wrong, with one person saying, quote, "I'm usually actively against cancel culture, but good lord, if this guy's ego is too big to let him admit he's been in the wrong, then at this point, he's doing it to himself. Threatening a self-Earth server exit is the lowest of the low." Another Twitter user saying, quote, "So let me get this straight. His game has no progress over years because he can't code, and even what is done runs like garbage because of spaghetti string code, but anytime someone announces something remotely like Yandere Simulator, he baits to shut it down." This wasn't the first time he'd done it either. He did the same earlier for a different game and actually successfully got that game to stop development. He defended himself, creating a game revolving around underage characters by saying that it's only implied that his characters are sexually active, but nowhere does it explicitly show the characters being sexually active. With his quote being, "On January 22nd, an individual contacted me to share her criticisms of Yandere Simulator. She seemed to believe that Yandere Simulator contains depictions of underage characters in sexual situations. There are no sexual situations in Yandere Simulator. There are characters who make vague statements which imply that they are sexually active outside of school, but there are no characters who engage in sexual activity anywhere that the player can see them." He also pulled my personal favorite argument that I hear people say, which is, "I didn't do anything wrong because the age of consent varies country by country." Brother, if you're bringing up the age of consent in other countries, you might have a problem. Maximilian Musk is a former YouTuber and Twitch streamer who Critical dubbed the worst YouTuber ever. Allegedly, he ran a Discord server that hosted inappropriate pictures of underage children. He also was known for harassing other YouTubers and Twitch streamers. He would often end his Twitch streams with a raid on other streamers that he didn't like and harass them. In 2019, a streamer named Weast exposed him for urging his followers to harass and humiliate him on stream. Max had 1.5 million subscribers, but after the video by Critical, he deleted his YouTube channel. It's unsure if the Critical video had anything to do with that decision, but the timing of it is sus to say the least. Max has been described as a parasite that thrives off of attention and controversy. There are screenshots of Max saying controversial things on Discord, including accusing others of pedophilia to his legions of fans who love to harass others. He would often get his fans to head on over to streams, both on and off YouTube, as well as YouTube videos to bully and abuse the creators. He would often play online games, trolling the community as a whole, from Fortnite to Valorant. He was a huge troll. Essentially, he trolled creators, tried to get some creators banned, and allegedly hosted a Discord server for trolls that potentially had illegal content on it. Lionmaker is a former YouTuber who was a Minecraft content creator. However, nowadays, he's mostly known for his controversies, including sexual abuse, interacting with underage fans, and then his YouTube channel termination. When allegations against him began to spread, his friends stopped interacting with him or appearing in his YouTube videos. Fun little fact, actually, Keemstar and Drama Alert was the first YouTube channel to cover this topic. On September 19th, 2015, Keemstar had an interview with a parent who said that Lionmaker tried to get explicit pictures of her underage child. Lionmaker had a unique perspective on this because his channel is a Minecraft channel, and Minecraft's core audience is children. He also claimed that his account was hacked and it wasn't him who sent the message to the child. He refused to give the name of the hacker, saying that he knew who he was, but he was being blackmailed, and then the parent said that she didn't believe the hacking story. On March 7th, 2016, YouTuber Colossal is Crazy exposed Lionmaker as being a pedophile who had communication with underage fans. Colossal also explained that Lionmaker is a master manipulator towards underage children and that he knows how to interact with kids to get explicit pictures. On November 6th of 2016, Lionmaker was on Colossus's podcast defending himself. Despite the hate that Lionmaker was getting, his YouTube channel was still growing. On September 29th of 2020, Lionmaker's channel was terminated due to violating YouTube's terms of service. A few months later, however, his channel was briefly restored by YouTube. YouTube must have later noticed this because a few days later, it was terminated again. Extreme Games is an online duo who are known for their challenge videos along with their giveaways. They started to become infamous for their allegedly fake giveaways and for faking their death for views. In 2018, they uploaded a video called "We're Quitting YouTube Because We're Dying," not clickbait, in which they announced that they were retiring from YouTube due to their terminal illnesses. The duo, Thomas and Jonathan, who are brothers, said that they were dying from vertigo and kidney disease respectively. I had to look this up, just because I was pretty sure you couldn't die from vertigo, so I looked it up. You cannot die from vertigo. Vertigo is a symptom, not a disease. There's one type of disease that is deadly that can cause vertigo. It's a symptom of cerebellar hemorrhage, which is life-threatening but also very treatable. So right away, this story is super unbelievable. They also said that they were doing one final giveaway where you can win 2 iPhone X's by subscribing to their channel. Speaking of, don't forget Tumblr, like, subscribe, comment. The duo then mentions that they've been to multiple doctors and have been turned down by all of them. After the video, they would frequently make update videos about their condition and appointments, saying that there might be a doctor by the name of John Bergman who could help them. While some fans showed support towards the duo, others had speculated that they faked their illnesses for views. They received criticism saying that they did it for attention due to the giveaway during the middle of the video. They got backlash for saying that vertigo was a disease, and the fact that they were able to make videos despite their severe illnesses. It was also pointed out that the doctor they talked about, Dr. John Bergman, specializes as a chiropractor. Later in 2018, they uploaded a video called "The Truth About Us Dying for Views," in which they responded to their accusations. In the video, they attempted to show evidence, such as showing earlier videos and symptoms from Jonathan. Thomas then responded to the criticisms of his vertigo, to which he said that some people can die from depression and anxiety disorders. They also show support towards Dr. Bergman, claiming that he knows the cure for cancer, kidney disease, and liver disease. However, this video also had a giveaway and the obviously fake claim about the doctor, and as such this video got a lot of backlash as well. 2 months later, they uploaded another video saying that they had been cured of vertigo and kidney disease. They claimed that after visiting the doctors, they showed no symptoms of their disease, which they claimed was cured by Dr. Bergman and Jesus. They would soon remove any videos relating to their illnesses or responses to the controversy. Imagine I upload a video and it's like, I'm dying, real, not clickbait. And I'm like, my ankle broke, I'm dying. My ankle actually did break. A couple weeks ago I broke my ankle, so that's been great. I try not to let my real life bias come out in these videos, but God, I hate Boogie2988. I'm not sure what it is, but I've never liked this guy. Then he had some like really stupid takes on Twitter that made he's just so easy to hate. Dude lost some weight and then got some new teeth and suddenly thinks he's God. He's done one cool thing in his life, which is admitted tax fraud. In June of 2019, he faced backlash after clips from older live streams of him making racially charged comments resurfaced. One time, after receiving a $3 donation from a follower who frequently donated to him with the message, "I am a black person," Boogie responded with, "That's a lot of money, I guess, for a person of color, is it not?" Boogie announced on Twitter that he had purchased a Tesla on June 27, 2019. He then did a live stream where he asked for money to help pay for the new car, upsetting some. He claimed that the pleas for his money were sarcastic, however. He later said that he had only put a down payment on the car, but then he cancelled it due to the backlash. At one point on Twitter, back to the thing that I mentioned earlier with his bad takes, he tweeted to his trolls, quote, "I think there are rapists and out there who are more redeemable than you because at least they're doing something they believe in." In September of 2020, he began trending on Twitter after news broke out of an ongoing conflict between him and a YouTuber named Frank Hassel. Frank had been harassing him over the course of several months after suspecting that Boogie was the cause of his channel's termination. Frank made his way to Boogie's house in Arkansas, and Boogie threatened to kill Frank if he stepped on his property. The next day, Frank showed up at Boogie's house wearing a GoPro. Boogie pulled out a gun and fired a warning shot into the air, which, if you own a gun or know anything about guns, you know is a huge no-no. Frank left with the entire incident being caught on his GoPro. A police investigation was launched shortly afterwards. On May 7th, 2021, a warrant was issued for Boogie's arrest on a charge of aggravated assault with a $5,000 bond. Boogie turned himself in and posted bail. He pled guilty during his court session. On March 7th, 2022, Boogie stated that his case was settled on deferred adjudication, which is essentially a plea deal. It's a little interesting, if you ask me, that he was wanted at all. Arkansas doesn't have the castle doctrine, but it does have laws in place to protect people and property. Again, Utah stays winning. Both castle doctrine and stand your ground laws. Utah stays winning. We're on the last person of Tier 4, and boy, is he a doozy. Alex Jones, according to Wikipedia, is a far-right and alt-right radio show host and conspiracy theorist. However, anyone who has taken time to study Alex Jones knows that he is not far-right or alt-right, but is just anti-authoritarian. He was a staunch hater of George Bush because of his interventionist policies that he was running on in 2000. He supported Donald Trump's 2016 election, however had a falling out with him over several of his policies, including airstrikes in Syria. In 2022, Jones was sued by the families of Sandy Hook survivors after he claimed that Sandy Hook was a false flag to push gun control. He later redacted the comments and said that Sandy Hook was not in fact a false flag and that it actually did happen. The lawsuit went through anyway. He was ordered to pay $1.487 billion in damages. Billion. In 1999, Germany was ordered to pay about $1.98 billion after World War I. So you're saying that Alex Jones saying something is fake and then later redacting the statement is almost the exact same as 40 million deaths. It just doesn't make sense to me, man. Then Wikipedia has the audacity to say that on December 2nd, 2022, Jones filed for bankruptcy to, quote, try to avoid paying any of the damages. Like, do y'all think this man has $1.487 billion? He probably is bankrupt. I'd be shocked if he had that much money. Jones runs a show called InfoWars, which you've ever seen is actually kind of funny. Like, if you watch it as a comedy instead of a news show, it's kind of entertaining. He does push a lot of conspiracy theories, such as Sandy Hook being a false flag, and occasionally he does get it right. This is pointed out by his supporters quite a bit. You'll often see people online saying, Alex Jones is right yet again, but when you're just throwing things out all day, every day, something's bound to stick. Alex Jones, in my mind, is just a huge meme. His appearances on the Joe Rogan Show are funny, and I think everyone should listen to him. They're hilarious. I don't think Alex Jones is as dangerous as people say, just because words are words, and not actions. Actions are actions. Words are not actions. Which is why I think I just see him as a meme, and not some harmful person. Alex has so many controversies. So if you're really interested in learning more about him, there's tons of resources online. I didn't go over everything, mostly for the sake of video length, because again, there is a lot. I don't take anything that dude says seriously. Like, again, I said, he's just a meme to me. Like, I do think that $1.487 billion is outrageous, and the family's probably never going to see any of that. But, like, I don't know. I think the dude's just a meme. Christian Weston Chandler, now Christine Weston Chandler, otherwise known as Chris Chan, might have the most online activity of anyone on this iceberg. I will say before I get started on Chris Chan that Geno Samuel 2.1 on YouTube has a 72-part series and growing on Chris Chan. Each of the 72 videos are about 40 to 45 minutes, so if you have the time and want a really in-depth look into Chris Chan, I would highly recommend his channel. Link's going to be in the description. Chris's online career began in 1999 with the uploading of an original comic series called Sonic Chew to a personal website. The YouTube channel was created in 2007, which was around the time that Chris became an infamous target for trolls due to the comics and rough personal life. As I said earlier, Chris is noted as being one of the most documented people online. There were many people that trolled Chris pretending to be a girl that was interested in him, and eventually someone got him to send them his Sonic Chew necklace. Sonic Chew is an original character created by Chris Chan, which is really just Sonic and Pikachu combined, as you can see in this picture. In early 2011, Chris said that he was a tomgirl and experienced gender dysphoria, but his parents heavily disapproved. Then in August 2014, he officially became a she, and then the name change from Christian to Christine later came in May of 2016. Chris Chan, in hopes of growing a vagina, took a knife to their taint, which resulted in no vagina, but it did result in an infection. Chris Chan then claimed to be bisexual, and the consensus around the internet was that the gender transition was to make girls feel more comfortable in an effort to pick up women. Chris Chan, perhaps the most interesting person on the internet, then started a cult in 2018 claiming to be Goddess Blueheart, with followers of the cult being called devotees of Chris Chan Sonic Chew. The religion claims that our reality and the cartoon reality will soon collide in a dimensional merge, destroying 41% of humanity in the process. Chris Chan also claimed that everyone is an OC or an original creation, and any characters that people have created will come to life. On August 1st, 2021, Chris Chan was arrested by police for accounts of incest charges towards Barbara, Chris Chan's mother, as well as rape charges because Barbara doesn't have the mental capacity to consent. Chris Chan had court on August 5th of 2021 and had multiple demands that were brought up multiple times. Chris Chan is currently in jail awaiting another court case in August of 2023. While in jail, Chris would write multiple letters claiming to be Jesus Christ reincarnated and warned that Judgment Day will be coming soon. To be fair, almost every time I wrote down Chris Chan, I wrote Christ Chan. So, I don't know if that's an argument for it, but it did happen. As I said, if you want to learn more about Chris Chan, there are days of content in the Chris Chan documentary that I will link to in the description, and the YouTube fandom wiki has so much as well. Low Tier God, often abbreviated as LTG, is a gamer, streamer, and online personality whose presence is notorious in the fighting game community. Real name Delon Sparrow, Low Tier God is a Street Fighter player and also plays other fighting games. He's most known for his rage quits and roasts. Low Tier God started his YouTube channel on January 20th, 2006. In his career, he has amassed over 60,000 subscribers and 8 million views on his channel. His videos and live streams consist of him playing fighting games, reaction videos, and personal thoughts on certain topics. His most popular video is a roast video, something that he is well known for. He made a video at the request of his community, roasting a cosplayer called Momo-kun. It was a 20-minute roast, as Low Tier God is an outspoken advocate against female cosplayers who only rely on promiscuous photos. He tried to demonstrate how Momo-kun used fake pictures to bait men into giving her donations and likes. The video went viral, and since it contained derogatory remarks, complaints were made to YouTube regarding their bullying policy. The video was then taken down, and a back and forth between Low Tier God and Momo-kun ensued on Twitter. Low Tier God then uploaded a censored, shorter version of the video to his YouTube. He's notorious in the fighting game community for violent rage quits, as well as just overall salty moments, and there are no shortage of YouTube videos on these topics. He has made ableist and transphobic remarks against his online opponents, leading to his social media accounts getting suspended. This has been cited as an example that the gaming community, specifically the fighting gaming community, is toxic. On April 14th of 2020, he went on a rant after losing in Street Fighter V Online, making transphobic remarks about his opponent, Ceroblast, on his livestream. The clip would be posted on Twitter the next day by Ceroblast, and on April 18th of 2020, Low Tier God was banned from all EVO events. He complained to the EVO runner on Twitter that Ceroblast also made racist remarks, but then the EVO runner just blocked him. Low Tier God was banned from Twitch in 2022, so he went to YouTube full-time to stream, but later in 2022, December 21st to be exact, his YouTube account was also officially terminated. There are some Low Tier God memes and a copypasta, but overall his internet presence has greatly decreased, and his supporters are almost nowhere to be seen anymore. Philip Burnell, born April 6, 1982, is better known by his online persona, Darkside Phil, or DSP. He's a YouTuber who is best known for his live commentary on his video game playthroughs and his controversial moments. His videos are generally raw and unedited playthroughs of video games, but he also has a vlogging channel. Many people on YouTube dislike or are critical of him because of his actions, decisions, attitude, and personality. He's been called a hypocrite, elitist, liar, man-child, and idiot, not just by his haters and trolls, but by big YouTubers, small YouTubers, actors, and video game journalists. He often will just brush off the criticisms as hate and doesn't take criticism well at all. He's notorious for insulting those who criticize him or even express a different opinion than him. He labels all criticism and parodies of him as hate and online bullying, and has said that all YouTubers who dislike him are bad people or idiots. He claims that anything negative towards him is not justified and that he doesn't understand why people don't like him. I haven't heard of this man until I was writing the script, and I don't like him. How does he not understand how people don't like him? When someone challenges something that he says, he laughs at their immaturity and brands anyone who finds anything of his controversial as a drama queen. Many critics of Phil have said that they were former fans of his, but he dismisses them, saying that they were not true fans and have been indoctrinated by his haters. He uses his haters as a scapegoat for his misfortunes. When his views began to decrease, he said it was because his critics discouraged newcomers from watching his videos. After getting swatted, even though both his fans and critics were outraged by what happened, he claimed that the perpetrator was inspired by his critics to commit what he called attempted murder, and encouraged his fans to find videos criticizing him and comment on it, saying how it supposedly nearly got him killed. After getting a copyright strike against his main channel, he compared the situation to having a literal gun put to his head, again blaming his critics. Phil is on record as saying, "I could have been stabbed, and if I survived, it would be less damaging than what you did to me." Here he's talking about a string of false copyright strikes in the summer of 2015. He's generally a poor sport who insults people he plays against. However, his poor sportsmanship doesn't just stay in the multiplayer arena somehow. Anytime he loses, fails, dies in a single player game, he blames lag, input delay, the AI, and oftentimes insults the developers of the game. He gets hostile towards anyone who points out what he did wrong by insulting them, and likely they're going to get banned from his channel afterwards. On May 1st of 2016, he had the incorrect pre-stream page up on his channel. This one had a face cam and caught him right before stream. He then went live and people talked about it on his stream. His controversies are also pretty big, not as many as Chris Chan, but they're also pretty big. I just touched base on the more prominent ones, but the list has many, many more, so if you're interested and you have the time, again, the YouTube fandom wiki has a good amount. Water time. Time to drink some water because my throat kinda hurts. Yeah. Noah Antweiler, known as Spoony or the Spoony One, is an American YouTuber, gamer, and commentator who makes reviews on video games and talks on other topics. He hosts an online series called The Spoony Experiment. In June of 2010, he attended the gaming convention E3. His controversy here is that he was acting childlike and interrupting people throughout the whole convention. Spoony was on a channel called Channel Awesome, and other members of the channel said that after that E3 in 2010, the channel's reputation and views began to go downhill due specifically to his behavior. On May 11th, 2012, he posted a tweet tagging another Channel Awesome member, Jesu Otaku, saying that if her current relationship doesn't work out, he would chain her up in his house and make love to her. Well, at first the tweet went majorly unnoticed. Another Channel Awesome member, Allison Pergler, fought with him online about the controversial tweet. The tweet would then receive major backlash from the community, saying that he was implying. After the drama, he would make a series of tweets apologizing to them about the tweet, begging for forgiveness, and saying that it was a bad joke. As a result, he received a temporary 1-month suspension from the Channel Awesome website. He is diagnosed with type 2 bipolar disorder. The fandom wiki article for Matt's What It Is has the following at the top of the article. So, warning, this article, Matt's What It Is, may contain material that is disturbing, such as discussions of softcore, child, and pedophilia. Matt Watson, better known as Matt's What It Is a former YouTuber who was first known for his comedy skits and men's fitness videos. Nowadays, however, he is mostly known for being the main cause of the third YouTube adpocalypse, the YouTube Wake Up hashtag, and his video titled, YouTube is facilitating the sexual exploitation of children and it's being monetized. In the video, he discusses a wormhole of disturbing and pedophilic comments on videos featuring minors. He has been criticized for his handling of the situation in his campaigning and attempts to start an ad boycott by many people in the YouTube community, such as Empleman, The Right Opinion, and Keemstar. On February 17th, 2019, he made his now infamous YouTube video talking about and entering a wormhole of child exploitation on YouTube. He talks about disturbing comments that he found on videos featuring children, including timestamps of minors in suggestive positions. At the end of the video, he included a montage of ads playing on these videos, as well as clips taken out of context of YouTubers complaining about the demonetization system, in which he tried to paint YouTube and its creators as ignoring the real problem of the website and as greedy. He then also encouraged his viewers to contact advertisers and multimedia companies in hopes to have them stop advertising on YouTube entirely. On June 18th, 2022, Matt decides to censor the entire video altogether and hide the chat replay. The reason is unknown, but it is possible that there were predators thriving on the video and clicking on it, which he didn't want. Now, you can't say that what he did was bad, because he was trying to stop exploitation of children. That's always a good thing. However, many people felt that trying to take away thousands of people's livelihood in the process was not the way to go about it. Jordy Jordan, otherwise known as Wings of Redemption, is an American YouTube gamer, streamer, and former Call of Duty commentator. He has many controversies, so I'm just going to be touching on some more major ones again. If you're interested, the YouTube fandom wiki, great place. In 2012, he complained on Twitter about his dwindling view count and declared how he was on the verge of. A YouTuber accused Wings of faking his tendencies for views. This man seems to have all the help in the world in terms of his life, but he still has a woe is me attitude. In 2013, FPS Kyle arranged a month-long boot camp program for Wings to help him lose weight, where he was offered to stay at Kyle's house. Together, they filmed videos of his weight loss progress. Wings actually attempted to leave less than a week into the program, but then Kyle convinced him to stay. Kyle, Kyle's housemate, and Kyle's friends helped Wings lose about 40 pounds through helping him exercise and cooking all of his meals. Despite all of this, he gained all that weight back as soon as he got home after the boot camp ended. Kyle even rebuilt his shower so that Wings would fit. Later on, when Wings was asked about this point in his life, he's very callous and ungrateful, claiming that Kyle and his friends didn't do anything for him despite all the things that they actually did. He was part of the Painkiller podcast with Kyle and others. In 2013, Kyle and a few others had an idea for a survival trip where they would go on a trip together with Wings, where they would go to a secluded part of the wilderness with only the most necessary supplies and see how long they could last. Wings initially said that he was built for this, even going as far as calling one of the co-hosts a because he didn't want to go. On the day of the trip in 2014, Kyle arrived at the location in the woods, about a 3-hour drive, and called up Wings to see how close he was. This is when Wings told him that he wasn't coming. Finally, being fed up with his antics, he was kicked off the Painkiller podcast permanently. After being booted from the podcast, he desperately attempted to find success on YouTube by himself and even went as far as to make a commentary video on Chris Chan in 2014. Remember how earlier I said I was writing Christ Chan a lot? I didn't fix this one, it still says Christ Chan. Wings eventually moved to Twitch to stream because it required less work, stating that he could just stream and not have to worry about editing. It does take quite a bit of work to make YouTube videos. I mean, especially not gaming ones, where I research, and then I write a script, and then I record, and then I edit, and I make sure the audio is all good and everything. But it's not that hard. It's time consuming, but I work a full-time job, 40 plus hours a week. I still do this. He's just lazy. Live streaming was both a curse and a blessing for him. A blessing because it proved to be more profitable. A blessing because it proved to be a more profitable, faster way to make money. However, since he couldn't edit the videos, the facade that he built as a god-tier Call of Duty player and gaming prodigy came crashing down as people were able to see his real skill level at gaming, which was not as good as he said it was. In a 1v1 matchup with one of his viewers in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, he became so angry to the point that he said he hoped his competitors' families died in a car crash and called him a human piece of shit. He also said this again later about another viewer, saying, "I hope your parents die and you live the rest of your life without them." He is now known for his rage streams and banning anyone who says anything negative in his chat. Trey Sesler, otherwise known as Mr. Anime, was an anime film enthusiast who formerly reviewed anime on his YouTube. He was one of the OGs of anime YouTube and is considered to be one of the individuals who kickstarted the anime community on YouTube, as well as many of the anime reviewers on the site. In February of 2012, Trey said that he was going to take a 2 or 3 week break to reward his previous hard work. At the end of the break, he announced that he had a new job in a field that he found fascinating and it may prevent him from uploading videos. On March 20th, 2012, he lured his mother into the garage where he shot her in the chest at point blank range. He then proceeded to enter the home and shoot his brother in the head. His father was woken up from the sound of the shots and went to investigate, only to be shot by him in the torso. Trey then killed the pets and destroyed the house before he took the weapon and 100 rounds of ammo to Waller High School down the street, with plans to commit mass murder. His original plan was to kill 70 students at their pep rally and to be the biggest mass murderer in history. He killed his family first so that they would not know what he was planning on doing next. On his way to the school, however, he decided against it and returned home, where he was arrested for murder. He later revealed that he turned around because it was all becoming too real, so he gave up. Police confirmed that Trey had been practicing for the event for several years by storing weapons in his college dorm and room and using buildings and household pets as target practice. Just so everyone knows, the biggest red flag of anyone is that they abuse or harm pets or animals in any way, shape, or form. So, I mean, if you see something like that, just be on the lookout. Trey had a large fascination for shootings, especially Columbine, and would rank killers. Shortly after he was arrested and the report of his arrest got out, many anime reviewers made videos on the situation. A lot of his fans and close friends were in denial for a while that the events even took place. A lot of his friends and family made up excuses as well, saying that he admitted to it and he was covering for someone, or that he was framed, but then he himself eventually admitted that he did do it. Trey was sentenced to life in prison. He had requested that his rights to parole also be taken away, believing that he'd pose a danger to himself and others. On the walls of his home, he wrote several things in marker, including, "Why did I do this? I love my mom, dad, and brother. I miss my brother, father, and mother. And God, please forgive me because I can't forgive myself." The only reason that I can tell that Elliot Rodgers on this list is because he had like a small YouTube channel, but then he posted his manifesto on it, which blew up. So technically he is an internet figure. So he was born in London, England on July 24th, 1991. He was heavily bullied in school, and he claimed that he was unable to make any friends, although people later said that he was the one who rebuffed their attempts to be friendly. He started maintaining a personal YouTube account and online blog, both of which he complained about his loneliness and rejection by others. He moved to Isla Vista, California on June 4th, 2011 to attend Santa Barbara City College, but he later dropped out in February of 2012. In July of 2013, he attended a party and said he tried to interact with girls there but was reportedly ignored. He then attempted to push girls off a 10-foot ledge, but failed and was pushed off instead by other men there. He then left, but then later returned to retrieve his sunglasses. Instead, when he got there, he was beaten up by the same people that pushed him. He told investigating officers about this, but they determined that he may have been the aggressor, so they didn't do anything. According to him in his manifesto, this caused him to begin planning his rampage. In April of 2014, his parents found his YouTube videos and became understandably alarmed. They contacted the police. However, when the officers interviewed him at his apartment, he downplayed the situation. They decided that he did not meet the criteria for an involuntary mental health hold, nor was there any reason to legally search his residence, so they left. At this time, however, he had been planning his killing spree and had 2 handguns in his possession already, and claimed in the manifesto that a search of his place would have ruined his plans. The next month, on May 23rd, 2014, Elliot started his rampage, which he self-titled The Day of Retribution. He started by stabbing 3 people to death, which were 2 of his roommates and their 1 friend who was over. Later that night, he uploaded his final YouTube video titled Elliot Rodgers Retribution, in which he described his plans and motivations. He then sent his manifesto a minute later to 34 people, including his parents and other family members, his therapist, former school teachers, and childhood friends. He then went to the Alpha Pi sorority house near the University of California, Santa Barbara, with the intention of massacring all of the residents. He knocked on the door, but no one answered. So he shot 3 Delta 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 sorority sisters who were nearby, killing 2 and wounding the 3rd. He then drove into town and fired into the deli mart from inside his car, killing a student. As he was driving away from the deli mart, he was spotted by 4 responding foot patrol officers, but they didn't suspect him to be the shooter at the time and allowed him to drive away. He continued his rampage, shooting at several pedestrians in drive-by shootings and striking others with a car. He got into a standoff with 1 police officer where they fired back and forth, and he just drove away, and the officer had no way of following him. He wounded 12 people during this time, 6 via gun, 6 via car. Near the end of the rampage, he got into another gunfight, this time with 3 sheriff's deputies near Little Acorn Park, and he suffered a gunshot wound to his left hip. He fled but was closely pursued by the police. He crashed into a bicyclist, severely wounding him, then he fatally shot himself in the head. Police investigated the crash and handcuffed the bleeding out Roger and the bicyclist, who they initially believed to be a second gunman. The day after this, officers went to Elliot's apartment to investigate it and found the 3 bodies of his roommates and his friend. Do you want to hear a real conspiracy? Roughly 50% of all my viewers are not subscribed. That's 50% of people, that's half of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Today, Zillion OP was a Twitch streamer who was accused of faking a disability for views and clout. He was a World of Warcraft streamer who had gained notoriety as a wheelchair streamer within a few months after creating his first account in 2012. He claimed that he had been in a deadly car crash the previous year and needed the wheelchair. In 2013, The whole world around him essentially came crashing down when he was clipped standing up from his wheelchair and walking away with ease.
Maybe I don't want to follow you. Our dog, oh my god, we took our dog.
He thought he turned the stream off, and upon realizing that he was still live, he ran back to his computer and turned the webcam away. Some instances foreshadowed this moment, however, as in January of 2013, his social media pages were hacked and spammed with incessant messages implying that the hacker knew his truth. On his Facebook page, the header was changed to an image with the slogan, "Gamer fakes disability to get donations." He was then permabanned from Twitch for fraud. However, in a twist, he actually did have a disability from a car crash earlier in his life, but he was going to physical therapy and was making significant progress. So while he was disabled, he didn't give the full extent to which he was disabled. His viewers assumed that he was permanently disabled, however he himself never claimed that. He's back to making content, for what I can tell, under the name It's Bluish, spelled B-L-O-O-I-S-H, and I personally wish him all the best. Only Use Me Blade is a former Call of Duty commentator turned drunk streamer. He became popular due to only using the knife mechanic in games, effectively handicapping himself against his opponents. He started heavily drinking in 2015 and his channel was terminated in November of 2020. He broke up with his first wife and then had a drunken controversy involving a blonde woman that he had been talking to for a few months. He started asking her questions about gay people, liking black people, and then called her an N-word lover before he left the room angrily. She left, and when he came back into the room, he fell and hit his head, leaving a bloody mess, and screamed effing N-words. He's also a degenerate toxic drunk and was accused of him groping underage girls while on vacation. This led to an interview with Chris Hansen in 2019. Blade has cried and gone on breakdowns claiming that they're all lies, and some victims have said that they lied after the event, but the overall public generally still finds him annoying. In 2019, he voluntarily turned himself into the police to try to prove that he was innocent of misconduct. The most viewed video of all time on him was made by Critical on August 20th, 2019, talking about the scandal, the moment where he threw his dog on the floor, and many other things. Through it, Critical bashed him, saying he acted like the type of guy who thinks women owe him sex because he's hot, even though many people agree, and I'm sure you might as well, that he just not that attractive. In March of 2021, however, he reunited with the alleged victim, who said that he in fact did not rape her. Jessica Leonhard, known online as Jessie Slaughter, was an 11-year-old girl whose profanity-laden videos went viral on YouTube in 2010. Her videos were made in response to accusations that a friend had forced her to have relations and that Jessie had a sexual relationship with the lead singer of the band Blood on the Dance Floor when she was a minor. This led to a campaign of internet harassment against Jessie and her family, attributed to 4chan and the group Anonymous. It began one of the biggest debates about the dangers of online anonymity and how safe the internet is, especially for minors. Jessie started making YouTube videos when she was 10 years old and discussed fashion, clothes, and local drama within the party scene. She posted her first popular video just before her 12th birthday in response to 2 claims made on a website called Sticky Drama, as well as MySpace. The first claimed that she was a victim of forced relations, and the second claim, again, was that she was having an underage relationship with the singer of Blood on the Dance Floor. The video was eventually linked to by users on 4chan who found and distributed Jessie's real name, phone number, and address. The harassment only intensified, as you can imagine, when she uploaded a video with her father, Gene, insulting and threatening the 4chan users that had posted info about her. He's quoted in the video as saying, "You know what, I'm going to tell you right now, this is from her father, you bunch of lying no good punks, and I know who it's coming from because I've backtracked it. And I know who's emailing and who's doing it, and you've been reported to the cyber police and to the state police. You better not write one more thing or screw with my computer again, you'll be arrested." End of conversation from her father. "And if you come near my daughter, guess what? Consequences will never be the same, you lying bunch of pricks." The video was titled "You Done Goofed Up" and got over 1 million views on YouTube in 1 week, which was viewed more than any other video of hers, with several quotes from her father's speech becoming memes, which, to be fair, they are kind of funny. What is not funny, however, is that Jean was later arrested in March 2011 for abusing Jessie in an argument in which he punched her, causing her to have a bloody swollen lip. Jean later died from a heart attack while in custody at a police station in early 2011. Jessie said that she had lost all of her family and friends as a result of the harassment and was placed under police protection while the family home was put under police surveillance. Jessie underwent counseling for harassment. In an interview with Good Morning America, the family had revealed that they had indeed received harassment, including death threats. The Marion County Sheriff's Department said that it was investigating allegations that there were pornographic photos of Jessie online. Gawker had coverage on the case and, in retaliation, had experienced many DDoS attacks. After the Good Morning America interview, the TV audience was given advice on how to handle cyberbullying, and if we're being honest, just close the laptop, turn off the iPad, just walk away. In Australia, advocates of internet censorship invoked the harassment to support mandatory content filtering. In 2020, Jessie told Chris Hansen that she was sexually assaulted in 2009 when she was 10 and the abuser was 24. Nicholas Fuentes is an American political commentator and live streamer born in 1998. He studied politics during his freshman year at Boston University, however dropped out in 2017, just after completing his freshman year. He said that he received threats for attending the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. He said that he would transfer to Auburn University in fall of 2017, but did not confirm his enrollment or continue his education. Nick self-identifies as an incel or an involuntary celibate, although some of his supporters actually claim that he is in fact a voluntary celibate because he had kissed a girl in high school. He then attempted to defend himself as an incel by claiming that having sex with women is gay and that the only really straight heterosexual position is to be an asexual incels. Fellas, is it gay to have sex with a woman? He began commentating on politics through a local radio and TV station hosted by his high school, where he just had mainstream conservative talking points. He currently hosts a live stream called America First with Nicholas J. Fuentes, which he began in 2017 during his freshman year at Boston U. He uses jokes and irony on his show to appeal to Gen Z, but also providing plausible deniability for his extreme views. Now, I disagree with pretty much everything that this guy says. You know, dude's like a white supremacist. I'm not a white supremacist. But having plausible deniability for extreme views seems like a cop-out. Like, if you're gonna have those views, just have them, you know? Like, as long as you're not saying something like someone needs to be physically harmed, or like, I don't know, having like a scapegoat for words just seems like a coward's move. In April of 2017, he said that Muslim speech was not covered by the First Amendment, which is the most brain-dead take I've ever heard. I apologize. Political stuff kind of gets me going because there are exactly 0 people that agree with me on either side. He then went on to say, quote, "Who runs the media? Globalists. Time to kill the globalists," which, ironically enough, is a call to action, otherwise known as a true threat and not protected by the First Amendment, according to MTSU. He then said, quote, "I want people that run CNN to be arrested and deported or hanged because this is deliberate." The publisher of his show at the time, Right Side Broadcasting Network, issued an apology calling the comments unacceptable and inappropriate. Nick left that publisher in August of 2017. In February of 2022, however, he claimed that he was actually fired by the CEO of the network. In December of 2019, he harassed political commentator Ben Shapiro, who was with his family at the time, at a TPUSA event in Florida. He had confronted Ben to ask him why he had given a speech in Stanford bashing Nick. Nick filmed the encounter and was heavily criticized online to Nick's dismay. It's like when people upload videos to Twitter and everyone's like, "Oh, you thought we was gonna side with you." No, that's exactly what happened. Everyone was like, "Oh, you thought we were gonna side with you." No. When Kanye West had dinner with Donald Trump in November of 2022, he brought Nick Fuentes to the dinner, which Trump said he was not aware of beforehand. However, Kanye released a video in which he stated that Trump was very impressed with Nick. Nick was also at the January 6th rally in Washington, D.C. Nick denies the Holocaust happened, and at a speech bestowed giggling praise on Hitler. During a speech in 2022, he said that the media had been comparing Vladimir Putin to Adolf Hitler, quote, "as if that wasn't a good thing." On March 10th, 2022, he praised Putin for the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine, which he claimed was to liberate Ukraine from the great Satan and evil empire of the world, the United States. Dude likes to talk a lot of crap on the United States for living here. One of the only places in the world you can live in and talk crap on at the same time. And he's like, yeah, Russia's so much cooler. Have you seen how many journalists have been suicided in Russia? It's crazy. Matthias Oyorzo, known online as Peluchin Entertainment, is a Chilean YouTuber. He became infamous for a video showing him inflicting violent, fatal abuse on his pet cat. He's been criticized several times for making racist comments against other nationalities. In mid-2017, at the high school where he was studying, sexual harassment allegations began to appear against him. There were a few situations where he would record audio of him pleasuring himself while saying the name of one of his classmates. He would send it then to another classmate. He was also accused of sexual harassment at his place of work, where people said he touched them inappropriately. He had a video resurface of him picking up his cat by the tail and dropping him multiple times, threw him, stepped on him, kicked him, and would later repeatedly hit him with a wooden spoon as the cat tried to escape. The cat later died in the vet hospital from the injuries. As I said last week, I've recently adopted a dog. Obviously it's not a cat, but animal abuse just makes me so sad, man. They're just so innocent and they trust you with all their heart, and you just betray that, and that's one of the crappiest things you can do, I think. Another video shows him throwing one of 2 new kittens that he got after his cat's death into a dirty toilet bowl. These videos have caused many people to call for his arrest. After a while, he claimed he doesn't care about his cats and that he will keep adopting cats to kill them, and that he will kill his mom. His channel would come into the spotlight again in 2020 when Critical made a video on him where he said that YouTube was doing nothing to stop this channel, which was actively hurting animals and encouraging others to do so as well, while they took down Leafy is Here for far less, which had only happened 2 weeks prior to the release of this video. Finally, later that month, his channel was terminated due to violating YouTube's terms of service against animal cruelty. Do you want to hear a real conspiracy? Roughly 50% of all my viewers are not subscribed. That's 50% of people, that's half of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Today, Adam Fulton, known online as LiveCorpse, was a popular Flash animator on Newgrounds. In the late night of June 8, 2004, one of his neighbors attempted to break into his apartment. After telling the neighbor not to come in multiple times, the neighbor would not budge. At one point, there was a scuffle and Adam ended up stabbing his neighbor. Due to the fear of his act of self-defense not being lawful, he ran out of his apartment with gun in hand and shot at a responding police officer who confronted him. He managed to evade first responders and was put on Arizona's most wanted list. For the next 3 days, he laid low inside of a dumpster, deciding his next move. He bought a train day pass and rode back to his apartment. When he arrived, he broke a window to his apartment in order to get inside, which he had done the year before when he had locked himself out. Once he was inside, he logged onto his computer and wrote 2 emails explaining everything that had occurred and what was going to occur next. At 6:11 a.m., his parents called the San Jose Police Department and reported that Adam had sent the 2 suicide emails to them. San Jose PD forwarded the information to Tucson PD, who dispatched officers to his apartment. Around 6:30 a.m., after hearing sirens from the first responders outside, Adam went to his bathroom and ended his life via a gunshot to the head. Afterwards, neither the neighbor nor the officer were killed. Both only suffered minor wounds. Carl Harold, known on Reddit as Carl H, was a well-known educational technology and programming YouTuber and Redditor. He was known for posting coding videos on YouTube and helping coders online on Reddit. He was even Redditor of the Day in 2012 due to his efforts in assisting people. However, Carl had a very dark secret. In 2013, Carl and his partner Charles were arrested and charged with child exploitation of Carl's own son. He locked up his son in his basement and started to sexually abuse him and posted the videos of the abuse online. He also prevented his son from going to school or going outside and had threatened to kill him if he told anyone else about the abuse. Carl's bail was set to $1 billion. In 2014, he was found hanging himself in his Alabama jail cell, having killed himself to avoid trial and sentencing. Christopher Neal, known online as Mr. Swirlface, is a Canadian convicted child molester. He was the subject of a highly publicized Interpol investigation of the sexual abuse of at least 12 young boys in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand, which was primarily owed to the internet release of images depicting the abuse. He was arrested by Thai police in October of 2007. He was known as Mr. Swirlface because he would digitally swirl his face before posting the pictures online. He appeared in more than 200 photographs depicting child exploitation, which surfaced on the internet and led to a worldwide manhunt. Despite the swirl he added to his face, German computer experts were able to reconstruct the original picture. He was working as an English teacher in South Korea, but fled on a one-way ticket to Thailand once he was publicly identified. He was arrested in northeast Thailand on October 19, 2007. He pleaded not guilty to the charges and was sentenced on August 15, 2008 to 39 months in prison and a $1,780 fine. His original sentence of 6 years was reduced after he later admitted to the crime. After 5 years of being locked up in Thailand, he returned to Canada, where he was immediately arrested at the Vancouver International Airport. On October 3, 2012, he was released from custody on strict conditions. On August 2, 2013, he was arrested at his house for breach of release. He was found with child exploitation content on his phone and computer. In December of 2015, he was sentenced to 5.5 years in a prison by a British Columbia court, which was later reduced to 15 months. He was released in March of 2017 and currently lives in Vancouver with a court order restriction on certain behaviors, including contact with minors in person or on the internet, and possession or accessing of any electronic device, or from getting any other person to do so on his behalf. So this dude sexually exploits at least 12 children for years, and he gets 5 months or 5 years in Thailand and like 15 months in Canada? What? That's messed up. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. Thank you for joining me on this journey of the controversial internet figures Iceberg. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me today. I'll catch you in the next one.